and welcome. This is a game. This is Boogerman, a game about a superhero, cartoony, silly, humorous superhero. Well, so let's just add. He's one of those superheroes who fights with his body. So let's just start with going down the toilet. No, that was the backstory. There's a machine which well basically could do a lot of good, but something has gone wrong in the laboratory where it was built. And the hero, who is of course an eccentric millionaire, following the grand old tradition, decides now to investigate it. So here it is. A silly, gross-out, humor-based platformer, as in, in line of Earthworm Jim, which was a massive success. So, Boogerman is very much a game of idea that, yeah, those guys did something smart. Let's just try to make something which is even more gross and disgusting and also humorous. So, but here's the snotty Ragsdale, the eccentric millionaire. He can dig through dirt. They are enemies. They are quite animated. Some of them walk around. Some of them jump. They are not particularly interesting. There's these weird globules on the ground, and he can. There's lots of animation frames put into the Boogerman's movement, and he can also. Well, he can do that, he can jump, and he can say his catchphrase. And I think that it was Dan Castellaneta who provides the voice of the Boogerman. So they might have been some kind of maybe idea that, yeah, let's make this kind of funny platforming game and funny toilet humor based platforming game, and then maybe we can actually get something like make a cartoon series out of it. But yeah, that's it. And of course the game starts with, well, now the Boogerman happens to be in the dimension excrement, and well, the gunk and unpleasant messes of humankind have been sent. So, and of course, going down the toilet allows to get to the bonus area. Yeah, there's lots of animation in this game, and of course, Boogerman can also climb these lines. But yeah, he looks kind of silly. He can go down fast, and he can jump to get up. And the socks or shoes are very bad shape. They're practically tearing apart, and he's wearing something which looks like an old pair of long johns. So, if this guy is a millionaire, I would like to say that he might be one of those very eccentric ones who live in a squalor. And of course, when Boogerman starts with a red cape, meaning he can take extra hit, But if he finds a new cape while having a red cape, it starts to flash, meaning that he can take 2 hits. And when he has a yellow cape, that means that the next hit is gonna make him suffer death. So the game is particularly, you could say, serious. And Boogerman also has limited amount of ammunition, but there's several kinds of them. There's that ammunition which comes from the gases, and then there's that stuff which is the more of it, the basic, the green stuff from his nose, meaning that he must have a bad case of upper nasal area infection or some kind of common cold kind of disease, because normal snot, that's a lovely word, is not green. If it's green, that means it's a sign of infection. Or better say, it's a sign of infection getting past. I'm pretty sure it's something like a thick green gunk. That would mean that, yep, it's very much of a... So yeah, so it would be very much a sign that, yep, you're getting very sick about it. But I would say, but the general presentation of the game is very good. The controls are a bit of a, you could say, slippery or loose, whatever adjective you want to use now. And then even the branches are covered with the snot. So the aesthetic of the game was very much, well, it's quite clear that what kind of setting was wanted, and that was doing. And of course, instead of pipes or anything, Boogerman goes through the nose, because that's where his superpower is. Although, I don't know, could you really say that Boogerman is some sort of, has a superpower, but he does have very graceful jump and superpower of animation frames, so he's quite, you could say, fitting character for this kind of game, which is, you could say, not at all serious. And of course, at the lower left, there's the chance to know that exactly how many Boogermen there are. And there was a hidden one, and that enemy just came out of nowhere. But now the level has been passed. Yeah, and after every level you get these plungers, gunk. And Boogerman builds himself a scaffolding to climb up and take the item. And now it would be the Flatulent Swamps level 2. Yep, the game's got several game words, and they all follow this, you could say, quite similar, you could say. You might call it lack of you could say, aesthetic sense. Yeah, but I would say that maybe despite or because of the deliberate lack of humor, or say deliberate lack of taste, the game's got a... I say that this game has lots of charm. It is not a, you could say, and of course, hitting the outhouses allows the Boogerman, or just Boogerman, to... It's a midpoint checkpoint. And I would say that the platforming in general sense is not difficult in this game. Although the short range and the short range that you can actually see forward combined with the like loose controls, although they're not slippery but loose, means that yeah, you get it might be kind of annoying, and it also looks real funny. Yeah, that happens when you fail the massive, powerful superhero building. So if you would want to just run through the game, this game can be done real fast. But I'm gonna do it much more, you could say, leisurely stroll through this game. Yeah, all kinds of details, and I would say that the oh yeah, beans give gas. Yeah, there's the flowers also seem to be quite eager to just get to it. But I'm not gonna go head to the bonus stage. And I'm also not taking any unnecessary risks regarding, I would say, quite almost guesswork hitboxes. But sometimes you do get hit. Sometimes you don't. Yep. And yet directions. That's actually exactly what Boogerman does. Yeah. He can use his body with very, you could say, with very obvious manners, and of course there's also the basic Mario special maneuver of just jumping on the enemies, and of course there's also sign works to show you that yep, that's the direction to go. Those snails make a quite big sound when they are smooshed. So I would say that the developers very much hope this to be some sort of successor or replacement of Earthworm Jim, and I would say that regarding that game, it's good design and the characters are real fun. Although Doug Tenable himself has gone through very much in line of completely voodoo, meaning insane, crazy. But in any case, somebody may be real good at one thing, intelligent or competent at one area, but not at all intelligent or competent in some other area. So that could be one thing. But Boogerman is not his creation. But I can definitely influence of Earthworm Jim in this, in sense that yep. I think we're gonna do something like that, but even crazier is quite noticeable. Yeah, those bats are really annoying. But luckily, this game's platforming is merciful in sense that there is no any kind of, you could say, hit impacts, as in that your platforming you get bumped by the enemy and then fall into the death pit because of the mid-air collision. None of that happens in this game. This game is very merciful about that. Yeah, just play the game forward how you want to see fit. If you want to tank through the enemies, you can do that, but be very wary about that you may lose your hit points might run out. No, just trying to avoid all these, and that was a nice landing. And of course, there ain't much of a, you could say, maze either in this game. Levels are very, you could say, linear. Oh, didn't get it. And another stage. I remember that there would be 3 stages and a boss fight on every stage, but apparently I was wrong. It's 4 stages and a boss fight. Meaning that the total number of stages in this game is about 20 or so. Can't remember the exact number because it's a very long time I've ever played this game. That was kind of grabbing those. Although I would say that the characters are really good. They're big, animated, cartoony, and generally fun. So that you could say that the presentation of this game was very much. I would say that you could say that it was the emphasis of this game, not the fact that not the making great gameplay or anything like that. It was all about, yep, we're gonna make this real funny looking, funny sounding, goofy game of toilet humor and all that. Nothing you could say very serious about this game. And then, but what about the game itself? It would have been something. I guess we're gonna figure out something. But first, we're gonna have to make a good fun setting. And I would say that that's, well, depends on what you are doing. It may be a solid design choice and solid design. Solid method of designing your game, but in this game it wasn't that, you could say, it's perfect. And I would say that the very loose yeah, that's a oh yeah, and yeah, it was like that. Yeah, the game's not always the very, you could say, most intuitive either with regarding all the things, but even the enemies seem to having quite lots of, you could say, animation frames on them. So there's not in that kind of sense complaining. Quite very basic platforming so far. You run, you shoot, you look silly, you make funny noises. And first boss fight.
Yep.
Oops. Making mistakes. Oh yeah, but the bosses have an attack and all that. So I'm gonna think that this video, instead of making the full series, I think I'm gonna just make it into this game because, well, the basic premise of the game has been already shown, and the massive amount of rust I have may very much lead to me being killed on the first boss, because the patterns of the bosses are very simple.
Yep.
But Hick Boy is some sort of redneck hillbilly foe. So let's just show that what kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And of course, the main villain who actually stole the power source of the Dimension X primitive machine is, of course, basically is basically a evil counterpart of Boogerman himself, called the Boogermeister. Oh yeah, and the loose hitboxes are really hitting me, but that would be one of the first boss, and that would end this game's playthrough review. Yeah, the game is fun, very humorous, silly, and all that kind of things, but it ain't very serious. But it is not very particularly serious either. So I would say, as much as game is concerned, I would say this is 60 points out of 100. Yeah, it's a decent game. It's a functional game, but it ain't really, to fully say, memorably good. So 60 out of 100 points, not that great results, knowing that you have to get 51 points to actually count as game worthy of title. As if to say you passed with the minimum score. So Boogerman gets 60, just barely above the least bad, or maybe 61 if I 60. Correction, no, it's 60 above 61. That's the second worst ranking. So Boogerman gets the 61 points out of 100. Yeah. So, actually no, you have to get it's 51. You have to get above to be accepted, but then it's up to 60 to 69. It's second best and all that kind of thing. So it's kind of janky, but still, hey, quite fun, quite silly, excellent presentation. See ya next time. See ya.